A big news in the Cardano ecosystem. We've got the Cardano Foundation striking an official partnership with Brazil's biggest and leading government technology developer. As a part of this update, I want to break down the implications and the details of the partnership and exactly how this stands to benefit Cardano. What's up, Ada Gang? Welcome into Adapt Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. As I've just laid down the foundation there, we've got Frederick Gegard and the entire Cardano Foundation striking an additional partnership in Latin America, continuing to strengthen the ties of Cardano in that particular area. Now I'm going to break down exactly what's been going on in that area, number one. And then number two, we're going to dive into the details of the partnership. And then we're going to close out by reviewing some of the benefits or potential implications to Cardano, Brazil, and just the entire blockchain and crypto space. Now, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal is to help you find your footing within the Cardano and Bitcoin ecosystems. If you appreciate content like this, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up on the way in. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to voice off down below. Now, if you want to extend your support for the channel even further, consider delegating your ADA with either of the two Dapp Central stake pools, which both share the ticker DAPP. Without any further ado, we're jumping straight on into the announcement here. And as always, links to the official articles will be left down below. So this is on the official Cardano Foundation website, where it states Serpro is the world's largest state-owned information or IT tech company out of Brazil. Now, this particular collaboration aims to help accelerate blockchain adoption and digital transformation in Latin America's largest public sector. Before we continue on any further, I want to just sort of lay down a little bit of the foundation for anybody who isn't aware of the focus or just target within Latin America. So backing up a little bit, we've just broken into the era of Voltaire, but prior to that, we had the Cardano Constitutional Convention, which was actually held in Latin America. I believe this was done in Buenos Aires, Argentina. But in addition to that, we've seen the Cardano Foundation striking MOUs with the province of Entre Rios in order to help them get online, use blockchain technology for Social Security, as well as their technological university, in which we're going to see students getting IDs and tracking attendance through public ledgers or through the Cardano ecosystem. So I wanted to lay down that bit of foundation there. We also saw Charles Hoskinson attending the Tech Forum right next to Javier Milei. This was in October of 2024. Again, just sort of showcasing the impact, the visibility, and the target of Latin America. We've seen many members from the existing Cardano community who do come from Latin America help out with that entire process, and they continue to advocate for the benefits of Cardano. So it does seem like things are beginning to pay off. Let's jump back into the article here, where it continues on to say, in regards to Serpro, as Brazil's leading government technology service provider, Serpro processes 33 billion transactions annually, and they also manage over 30 petabytes of data across various cloud platforms. As always, I've dug a little bit deeper in here, and so we've got the official Serpro website, where they break down some of their key services. So one of them is called Data Valid, which offers real-time data validation directly from Brazil's government information sources, minimizing the risk of fraud. They've also got another service called VIO, which is a validation system that's used to compress and encrypt tech information in a document that can be entered or stored via a QR code. They've also got another service called Radar. They've also got another one called Pro ID. And so as you could imagine, with something like Pro ID, I could see that directly tying into Hyperledger's Identis, previously known as Atala Prism, which is essentially a self-sovereign identity SSI solution for identity management. And so just a couple of things to keep in mind there. Jumping back into the article, it states that Serpro's workforce of over 5,000 specialized technology professionals includes 2,000 dedicated developers who power the digital solutions serving over 90% of Brazil's federal administration. It also includes the actual gov.br website, which is the Brazilian government website. So if you jump over here, this is actually developed and maintained by Serpro. So this is massive here in terms of opportunities for Cardano. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be sort of giving my 2 cents or my thoughts as to how this could shape and benefit both parties involved. Now, in hindsight, and also just sort of diving deeper into the connections between the foundation Cardano in Latin America, we have the fact that the foundation last year announced an educational program in partnership with Petrobras. Now, they're a leading and a state-owned energy company, and they have over 40,000 employees who had the opportunity or who will have the opportunity to learn more about crypto, blockchain, and Cardano, to be particular, all through the Cardano Academy, or which is curated by the Cardano Foundation. So this is extremely similar here. And again, I'll leave the link to this particular article down below if you want to read a little bit more into it. But it basically breaks down the fact that this is a very similar partnership. Now, the next thing I want to do is briefly read 2 comments, one coming in from Frederick Agard, the head of the Cardano Foundation, and then one coming in here from Alexander Gonçalves de Amorim, who's the director-president of Serpro. So Fred states that by integrating Cardano's technical solutions into Serpro's extensive network, they're enhancing transparency and improving service delivery for millions of citizens. And then we've got Alexander stating that this particular partnership represents a significant step forward in bringing blockchain technology to the heart of the public sector. As we get ready to wind things down here in the article, the Cardano Academy will be launched for all 8,000 employees, including their 2,000 developers, with a focus on comprehensive blockchain education and professional development. In addition, the program will offer comprehensive tech training, certification opportunities, ensuring participants develop the necessary skills and credentials in blockchain tech. Now, this is according to Kleber Pereira dos Santos, who's an advisor to the presidency of the Brazilian state-owned company, stating that this is sort of their first partnership with an international entity for educational purposes. And quote for quote here, he states that as a part of the government's strategy, Serpro has been significantly expanding its role in digital transformation and blockchain technology, and it's essentially using that as a strategic tool to ensure data integrity and decentralization, mitigating fraud possibilities, and increasing state efficiency. Now, one key piece that I have to highlight here is the fact that it mentions that Brazil has an impressive track record when it comes to digital government maturity, where they're ranked as the second best or second most mature country globally by World Bank. Again, I had to dig a little bit deeper into this. There is a PDF. I'll leave the link to it down below, but we can see here that we've got different groups in terms of the GovTech maturity. Now, this was done back in 2022, but we can see that Brazil is mentioned in some of the GovTech leaders category. We've got significant focus on GovTech right below, some focus on GovTech, and then minimal focus. But we can see that Brazil is captured here as an actual leader. So extremely bullish news here coming out from the foundation. As we get ready to close this video out, I want to talk about the benefits to Cardano, which of course kick things off with massive adoption potential. If we're able to take over, even if it's just the 1 or 2 key services that they provide, and execute or at least capture or validate some of those transactions on chain or using the Cardano ledger for Serpro, that could equate to millions of transactions, especially as their government grows, their country matures, and their services and just technology in general advances. And so that's just the first thing, is the massive adoption potential for Cardano. Second, we've got the fact that this essentially makes Cardano government level legit, meaning that Cardano could be seen as one of the few blockchains that is capable of executing or at least supporting government level infrastructure or government level needs. Third, we've got the fact that this touches on education and growth for developers, which is obviously a thing that we need here within Cardano, specifically with Haskell. Now, we've seen a lot of simplification or a lot of solutions to simplify development here in the ecosystem, including Aiken and brand new Plutus primitives, which have been released as a part of Plutus v3. But we need more developers that understand the tech and that all bring their own ideas and their own flavors to things that already exist in the ecosystem, as well as developing new tooling that may not already be available. Next, we've got the expansion across Latin America, which I've already sort of hit on, and then of course, increased blockchain transactions. Now, in terms of benefits to Brazil, obviously, because Cardano is secure, it's reliable, and it's decentralized, these are all traits that inherently get passed on to the government of Brazil, meaning that they'll have enhanced data protection and enhanced data security. Now, one other thing that I have to highlight here is the potential improved optics for Serpro and the entire country of Brazil. They're still a developing nation, just like many other countries. And I think that that's one thing that plagues them is sometimes there are doubts about the validity or just the security of things that are run by the governments. And so if they're able to integrate blockchain technology, I think that gives them an additional layer of security and also builds public trust with their own communities and citizens. Now, one other thing that I have to highlight here as well is the fact that this could potentially attract additional tech investments, but potential concerns include the regulatory landscape within Brazil. Obviously, within the USA, we've got our own battles that we're dealing with, but the landscape within Brazil is completely different. And so we want to make sure that they're obviously open, not only to adopting Cardano, but just open to blockchain and public ledger technology moving forward. Another concern is scalability. So right now, with where Cardano currently stands, we're waiting on Ouroboros Paris, Ouroboros Laos. But in the meantime, we do have things such as Hydra. We also have things, for example, like Midgard, which should be coming out soon, which will help to scale Cardano and which will also help with increasing throughput. And so that's sort of my main concern is if they do want to do things on chain, if they are going to contribute to transactions, if they want to deploy infrastructure, can Cardano in its current state stand to adopt or to successfully operate their needs? As we get ready to close out here, the very last thing I want to highlight is the distinction between some sort of public instance and some sort of private instance where maybe they do want to use Cardano, but don't necessarily want to have all of the information publicly available. So do they also rely on a partner chain, for example, like Midnight, or are they okay with posting everything right publicly on chain, which can be accessed by anybody around the world? So that'll do it here for today's video. I don't want to ramble on too long here, but we've got the Cardano Foundation partnering up with one of the leaders when it comes to developing government tech in Argentina. That is Serpro, and they'll be offering to them educational courses with the potential future integrations as the road continues. That will do it here for today's update. As always, if you guys have enjoyed this particular update, timely news just like this, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to go ahead and leave a comment down below. Having said that, I will see you all in the next video.